Hey, welcome back to the Lucia Show. If you're hearing that music, it means it's Monday. Monday with Lyn Rowe talking about long-term care. The website is iwantmyltc.net. That's iwantmyltc.net. And if you don't have long-term care as a part of your comprehensive plan for retirement, you probably are missing the boat, because increasingly demographics are showing that people will be using these products. They will have a need for long-term care. When you go back and you look at the statistics for who needs long-term care and whether their retirement plans, their current retirement plans, can withstand that siege of dollars from their bank account, the answer typically is no. So joining us today is Lyn Rowe to talk a little bit more about that and enlighten us about some further fallacies and myths that are out there right now. There's this idea that it's not going to happen to me. Like, it's just not. Yeah. It's not very plausible. It might happen to me, but the odds are.
What if I'm never going to need it?
Right. What if I'm never going to need long-term care and I pay for it? Then what happens?
Well, and this one blew me away. This is a study that National Center for Health Statistics indicates that odds of having a serious car accident, 3 in 900, John. Mm-hmm. That's not very high.
No.
And yet you wouldn't think of not having, obviously, even if it wasn't the law, you wouldn't think of not having auto policy. But odds of having residential fire, 7 in 900. Odds of being in a critical care unit, which makes sense. People think about, well, I might get cancer, I might have something else, and it's a kind of a short-term thing. 21 in 900. Odds of needing long-term care. What do you think?
35, 40, and 1.
630 and 900.
Wow.
What if I'm never going to need it?
Yeah,
Please.
So 70%
There's some
basically.
Logic on this.
Yeah, 70% of people are
yes.
going to need some sort of long-term care, and if it's not coming out of a policy that they've bought, it's coming out of their retirement.
It's
funds.
coming out of their retirement, and it's coming out of the blood, sweat, and tears of family members. And we've talked about this ad infinitum, but we're going to talk about it some more because I see it over and over again. Family members just get worn out. 70% of those claims for long-term care insurance are home care claims.
Right.
Which means family members who are connected with somebody who doesn't have the long-term care insurance, they're going to try to do it themselves.
Right. The website is iwantmyltc.net. That's iwantmyltc.net. You can also call Lyn at 877-270-3127, 877-270-3127. And if you don't have this as a part of your comprehensive plan, you need to get on the website. Again, it's iwantmyltc.net. Go ahead and play with some of the documents that you find there. There are some examples out there. It gives you kind of an introduction. More importantly, though, pick up the phone, call Lyn, and talk about some of these things, because I will tell you that this is not a story that's going away. And as a matter of fact, it's probably just going to get bigger as between now, 2014, to the next 15 years, all the baby boomers are reaching their retirement ages.
That's
basically.
Exactly right. That's
okay?
Exactly right.
And
John.
so we're going to see increased longevity. We're going to see increased need for people to have these types of products. And the fact is that people don't. Do we have some others? I mean, I think there's this idea that well, we can't withstand the siege that's going to happen in long-term care, so why should I do anything? But that's simply not true. The insurance companies are ready for this with products that are affordable.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things, you make a good point, John. That's one of the things that insurance companies have been doing lately in the last, I would say, 5 or so years. They have been going through and looking at the cash flow and people's inclinations to buy insurance and how much they seem to be able to afford to buy. And they've been tailoring products around that budget, which is where I like to start with people.
Sure.
Rather than somebody saying to me, how much does it cost? I mean, that's like opening up Pandora's box, especially if a broker who wants to, give you.
How much does a home cost, by the way?
A home?
Yes. Exactly. Right? That's the same thing. How much does right?
He's very good.
I mean, there's many different
Good
answers.
point.
Tell me what kind of home are you looking for? How big is it? What do you need?
You can ask a lot of questions.
Right. You can ask a lot of questions. Same thing
thing
with
with a
long-term
car.
care, right?
Exactly.
It's not a one-size-fits-all. Well,
No.
tell me a little bit about your particular circumstances. What are you worried about? What are you trying to take care of?
What family history do you have? What resources do you have? Were you in the military at some point? I mean, there's just a lot of questions that we need to go through to kind of tailor a plan around you and your circumstances, rather than than kind of going, one size fits all, like you say, because it just doesn't. Single people might have different needs than people who are married because they can count on their spouse to be there at night. A single person might not have that ability, or that single person might end up in their kids' homes, in which case they need home care so that the kids can go to work and take the grandkids to the ballpark and do the things that that they need to be doing for their lives. So having some plan in place makes enormous sense. You're right, John. Not having a plan is just...
Well, and this is the thing, you work your whole life to build up these assets so that you can have a retirement, okay? And let's face it, even if you do have long-term care, we're not talking about long-term care being 10 years. We're talking about a couple of years, 3 years, okay, right?
Yeah.
So the majority of your retirement is going to be spent doing something besides having long-term care, and it's a shame to not enjoy it to its maximum.
Exactly.
Because you might have, these things typically don't just happen all of a sudden and all of a sudden you need long-term care. They happen over a period of time, and you don't want to have a decreased quality of life over that period of time. The website is iwantmyltc.net, iwantmyltc.net. You can catch Lyn at 877-270-3127. It takes about 15 minutes to really get a kind of a basic idea. What do I need? What does my budget look like? It doesn't take a real long time. And especially if people are listening to the show, we know already they care about their retirement money.
Right.
We understand that already. These are very smart people listening to the show.
Folks,
Right. They are absolutely on top of this. And so it only takes about 15 minutes to get some of this information. They can go to the website or they can call you, right?
Exactly right. And it's so important for somebody who is planning minded to realize that outsourcing things makes enormous sense. You outsource a lot of things. You're not about to do your own car repairs. You're not about to, get into a lot of things, write your own trust and will and so forth. You're going to delegate it to somebody with some savvy in that area, and they're going to be able to help you, and it's worth the money. It's the same thing is true with long-term care. If you can delegate it to professionals who can be there to train the family, what to do at night, what not to do, how to do it, and also be there during the daytime so the families can get a rest, get a break.
Well, and also, or even maybe contemplate, if you plan now, contemplate the idea that your family won't have to do that much. Because I think for too many of us, we believe that we're going to be the first line of defense when it comes to our spouse, when it comes to members of our family. I can tell you right now, wildly unrealistic idea that you'll be able to do that. A wife cannot, manhandle a husband in and out of bed 15 times a day, which is what we're talking about in some of these instances. So take your time right now. iwantmyltc.net, iwantmyltc.net. You can call 877-270-3127. It only takes 15 minutes. You want to do a little bit of a checkup on your financial plan. You've already done all the hard work. Take the extra 15 minutes just to complete it. Completion is always fun. Doing something so it's totally done is always a good idea. Yeah, so go ahead and do that. We're going to have Lyn back after these messages. We're going to talk a little bit about how do you make a budget for long-term care. I'm John Bam Ransom, filling in, but not replacing the great man himself, Ray Lucia. He's going to join us after the next segment with your emails.